Hey everyone, I hope you're having a great day. It's been a bit grey and dull in Berlin right now. Last night's fireworks are either ash and trash on the ground, or in some cases, a microscopically fine filter in the air, giving what little sunlight makes it through the clouds a cold blue tinge. It's kind of cool, actually. And a more sensitive soul might be able to read some portent of the year to come on this day, but I'm not that sensitive. What I see is a lot of shit that needs to be cleaned up again because of some irresponsible knobheads letting their money and their id run wild. Some of them are still using horrendously loud firecrackers in the distance. It sounds like the laziest group of soldiers stuck in a turn-based shooting match for eternity. What I'm trying to say is this. Lots of things are looking pretty ugly right now. Not that this was ever a particularly scenic place, but right now, it's legitimately obnoxious. Ah well, what do you know? I ended up with a metaphor again. Those things are really hard to avoid. But don't worry about it, there's no resolution here. There's no coded message to resolve the metaphor into some clever aphorism that will leave you nodding sagely or chuckling or scratching your head. Things are what they are. We will continue to do this fancy little podcast about board games, and I'm fully aware of the pretentiousness of recording this New Year's message that hasn't and will not actually be about board games. But I promise you that we will continue to be irreverent in our jokes, occasionally political and unreasonably ambitious in our board game talk. You might even have the misfortune of seeing our average faces, as well as our fanciful facial hair, on video more than once a year, for a very simple reason. In fact, for the very same reason that we make this show and you like to listen to it. It's because we love board games. I love board games. I really do. I love to play. I think playing is one of our most basic instincts when we engage other people. Kids do it. I'm reasonably certain animals do it as well. So why should we stop doing it when we're adults? Play is in some respects the foundation of any shared culture we have. So if you're listening to this, I consider you part of this culture that we share. A culture that spans ages, genders, skin colors, and any other markers of identity that you can care to cling on to. We share a culture because we're gamers. Now recently I've looked around and it seems to me that people are scared of this new year. They are worried about the direction things are going, terrified of the cataclysmic changes that a small number of men threaten to bring about in the weeks and months to come. There's a sense of dread and despair bubbling under the surface of so many, and it brings two things to my mind. First, despair is arrogance trying to convince you that you know what the future holds. Despair is an asshole, and I don't take advice from assholes. And second, it's a small number of men. A small number. No matter what the blowhards, the braggarts, and the trolls say. I didn't suddenly wake up in a world where everyone is fine with racism, where everyone decided that women should never be more than second-class citizens, where the majority of people suddenly felt non-heterosexuality is deeply immoral, corrosive, and kind of icky. That world isn't where you and I are right now. We are not a tiny parish of civilization besieged by an endless horde of barbarians. The things we value, like knowledge, rationality, solidarity, ethics, they haven't been gleefully and intentionally abandoned by everyone. The people who believed on those things 1 year ago, they still believe in them now. We all just didn't think we had to fight this hard for them. I'm sorry, I'm kind of getting off track here. What I'll do now is this. I'll go outside, and tomorrow, and the day after that, and I'll start cleaning up. You know, too much ugly shit on the streets gets ignored these days, and I'm sure I'll get into fights for calling people out on it, but I don't care. I'm sure I'll get into fights with my colleagues for the casual bullshit they fling around, but again, I don't care. And I'll get into fights with my family about this, but I don't care. I'm honestly past caring. It's a bit grey and dull in Berlin right now, so I'm going to roll up my sleeves and get to work. It's been 2017 for a number of hours now. Enough curating your hangover, mental, physical or otherwise. Let's go do something. Let's go challenge people. Let's go play.